SCP-5973. Ohio has been eliminated. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. The Foundation is to maintain SCP-5973's exclusion zone during the recovery and cleanup phase. Non-Foundation emergency personnel within the zone are to be supervised, and upon leaving they are to be treated with appropriate amnestics. Update: May 11th, 2021. Following an emergency consultation with the Ethics Committee, the O5 Council has authorized the termination of any surviving sentient organisms found within the SCP-5973 exclusion zone. Executive Order O5-5973-1. Operatives suspected to have participated in the termination of survivors prior to the issuing of this order will no longer face disciplinary action. Research Site-33's reactor ring is to be used as a temporary depository for organic remains until a larger storage vessel is acquired. A combined amnestic and misinformation campaign, Executive Order O5-5973-2, is to be enacted with immediate effect. A mandatory Class C amnestics drive, to which all Foundation personnel below the executive levels will be subjected, will be enforced over the coming weeks. We believe this is in the best interest of preserving the Foundation's reputation and its directives to secure, contain, and protect. The presence of such a large exclusion zone makes total prevention of media and public interest impossible. As such, Foundation operatives within the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, are to disseminate the story that an unprecedented seismic event has occurred. Description: SCP-5973 is the designation for a spatial anomaly that occurred on May 10, 2021, at Temporal and Extraspatial Research Site-33 in Redacted, Ohio. Personnel had successfully propelled a single hydrogen atom to a speed believed faster than light. The particle accelerator, an underground structure 27 kilometers in diameter beneath Redacted County, had been in use without fault for 3 years prior to the SCP-5973 event, though no tests prior to May 10, 2021 had achieved a faster-than-light effect. The spatial anomaly occurred several milliseconds after the atom reached faster-than-light speeds. It has been speculated that the atom lapped itself several times before a mechanical fault abruptly reduced its speed, causing it to collide with the previous iteration of itself, which was subsequently knocked from its course. The immediate effect of this collision was the duplication of all matter within the accelerator's perimeter, offset from its existing position by approximately 0.6 inches. Severe damage to man-made and organic structures within the 27-kilometer perimeter, including several towns, occurred in seconds. Winds of up to 11 on the Beaufort scale were recorded as far away as Wisconsin in the moments following SCP-5973. The cause of this event was the mass displacement of air. The widespread loss of life caused by SCP-5973 is believed to have been largely instantaneous, with the majority expiring from crush and laceration injuries. The current human toll stands at approximately 14,000. Among those who expired were 57 Foundation personnel, following the destruction of Site-33's infrastructure within the radius of the anomaly. As exploration and recovery is ongoing, the final toll is still pending. Incident Report: May 11th, 2021. Interviewed: Agent Redacted Manston, MTF Alpha 4. Interviewer: Dr. Ash Singh, Ethics Committee. Forward: in the immediate aftermath of SCP-5973, 82 man response teams were sent in the affected area to assist with reconnaissance and recovery. Personnel had been drafted in from a variety of MTF squads in order to maximize operational capacity, hence the presence of Pony Express operatives. Begin log. Agent Manston: look, I don't want a grilling. I want some Class C. I want to forget this whole fucking thing. But you've had me sitting in here for... Dr. Singh: I can't imagine what you're going through, Redacted. How about I just let you talk? Tell me what you found yesterday. You and Agent Dunnings. I'll be recording. Fine. Whatever. It was a fucking mess. That's what it was. Or Pony Express, for God's sake. Well, 1 minute we're in Dayton snooping around some USPS office because a worker thinks she found a stamp that moved. Next thing you know, we get a call that every agent in the state's been mobilized. Pronto. Something big. They send a Chinook to get us. And the next thing I know, we're heading into a disaster zone? They had us, me and Dunnings. Christ, it was a middle school, or it used to be. On a Monday morning. I knew it was gonna be bad wherever we dropped, but that... Oh god. What I'll remember the most, though, or maybe what I, latched onto instead of all those poor people. It was the silence. Other than the choppers in the distance, it was dead quiet. That's when we heard the gunshot. So, we went across the yard, across the street, and there was this Wendy's. Mind you, we weren't supposed to enter any place that we hadn't been assigned, what with practically everything being structurally unsound, but we went over to this Wendy's where we heard the shot coming from. Just like the school, it was full of... I'm gonna be real, most of those poor bastards you could barely say were bodies anymore. Hideously deformed, dismembered, bits and pieces of people everywhere. Only, I went in at first. Went behind the counter, where they cooked the food. This one girl, I think it was a girl, she was bleeding. Not in the same way the others had bled. She'd been shot. Right through what was left of her. It's okay, redacted. Take your time. Anyway, she was warm. Like she'd been alive a bit longer than the others. Wouldn't wish it on my own worst enemy to survive a disaster like that. But that bullet had gone right through her, and the way it was flayed, I knew it was Foundation issue. I called Dunnings inside, and you know what he said to me? Straight away. That's a mercy kill. Can't see either of us blame whoever did it. And in the bathroom, what was left of it, that's where I found Agent Parker and Carruth. Pony Express. Like me and Dunnings. We're an MTF, but we're not soldiers, Doctor. None of us, let alone them, were prepared for this. Parker and Carruth in full tactical gear, slumped in a stall. They'd removed their breathing apparatuses and set off a single can of amnestics. Parker's gun, I checked, it was still hot. I'd like to deeply apologize on the behalf of the Foundation, redacted. The Ethics Committee are devoted. My ass you are. You didn't stop them from testing that big fucking collider, whatever. Who is that protecting? It's an affront, Doctor. It's everything this Foundation purports to represent. The administration are hugely embarrassed by this disaster, Agent Manston. Besides, Site-33 had a purpose. We hoped the accelerator would help us better understand the mechanics of space-time anomalies. We're done here, Doctor. I'll take the Class C. Then get me out of here. End log. Closing statement. Agent Manston's testimony formed the basis of Executive Order 05-5973-1 and 05-5973-2. The Ethics Committee and O5 Council come to the joint conclusion that maximum suppression of SCP-5973 and its associated events and aftermath is the most effective way to preserve the Foundation's integrity, reputation, and internal morale. Addendum 1. May 11th, 2021. Internal memo from the Administrator to O5 Command. The Administrator. I've just had Senator Redacted on the phone. He's rather displeased that FEMA has not yet given any indication as to the death toll. The exclusion zone is also raising questions. The usual pundits have some colorful theories already. Not that I'm opposed to hundreds of conflicting nutjob conspiracies in the name of misdirection. Addendum 2. May 11th, 2021. Exchange between 054 and the Administrator. 054. I'll take the committee's word for it, but the mass anesthetization of all of our staff is an approach that, well, Administrator. Well, it's in all of our best interest, 054. I simply cannot allow for the psychological trauma of our employees to impede future operations or, God forbid, the veil. Imagine a guilt-ridden whistleblower. You're certain this is the right move? I have confidence in our abilities to maintain a public cover-up. On our part, this is what you might call a colossal fuck-up. And when it comes to fuck-ups, my preferred course of action is to ensure that they never happen again. If only we had an anti-memetics division to cook something up. Else we could be looking at the biggest shambles since star signals. Star signals didn't kill 14,000 people. Unless you want to go after old photographs, some directories, any kind of physical evidence that remotely suggests that these 14,000 ever existed, there's too many discrepancies for me to put my total faith in a Niue or similar protocol just yet. I propose we continue with the executive order as is. There is media chatter about the death toll already. I can arrange some personnel to give statements to the press. That should counteract our lack of, survivors. You have my blessing to proceed. Addendum 3, May 12, 2021. Excerpt from CNN article, May 12, 2021. Pressure mounts as Ohio quake death toll could be as high as 14,000. By Jason Farley, CNN. Updated 11:06, Eastern Standard Time, May 12, 2021. Representatives from across the Midwest have today condemned the presidential administration for enabling rural decline following suggestions that as many as 14,000 could be dead following Tuesday's earthquake in eastern Ohio. Poor infrastructure and neglected construction codes are among the grievances cited in the joint letter to the White House, whilst heat has been directed at the Federal Emergency Management Agency for maintaining their press exclusion zone. A FEMA source told CNN, "What we're looking at here is a level of devastation that this country has never known. Out of respect for the victims and their families, it's the agency's decision that we will not be allowing media coverage of the damage for the foreseeable future. One thing I can say is this. Regarding the death toll, we must be prepared for the worst." An anonymous survivor told Columbus news agency WSYX that the ground just started shaking. "I've heard of little quakes, but I didn't think one this big could ever happen in Ohio." Addendum 4, May 12, 2021. Internal memo from the administrator to O5 Command. Good, keep pointing those fingers at the government. I have ordered what remains of Site 33 to be totally razed, and all other evidence of Foundation activities in the region to be destroyed. This was a close call, but combined with the effects of Executive Order 5973-2, I believe that we have successfully absolved the Foundation of any involvement in this tragedy. You may now voluntarily subject yourself to Class C amnestic treatment should you so wish. Thank you for listening to SCP-5973. If you enjoyed this SCP, please follow the link in the description of the SCP Wiki, and vote it up to support it and the SCP Wiki as a whole. Also, if you have any SCPs you'd like for me to do, please leave a comment and I'll see what I can do.